Hello everyone, it's Rick. It's Sunday, a rare Sunday video at 6:21 Eastern Standard Time on June the 11th, 2017. If you need to reach me, it's email rick0327@me.com. What I've been doing over the weekend was I've been preparing a affidavit. Well, it's going to be two affidavits dealing with contempt. Now, the guy made a video about Bob from upstate New York. He emailed me, and it was funny, he emailed me this while I was in the middle of finishing the affidavit. And, he asked the question, he's like, you can't be jailed for contempt in a civil matter. Because, well, I think you can. But here's the thing. How can you be jailed for contempt of an administrative order? That's my question. And that's the way I'm tackling it. Now, it's funny, I never looked at it this way until I started making the document. When I make my documents, I have to make sure I dot my I's and cross my T's, law-wise, make sure the laws are correct. And, but, it reminded me that, I've said to you guys in my videos, I used to stress, before I had my support order vacated, one of my tactics was, tempting the police to arrest me, because I thought that once I'm arrested, they have no choice but to address on the record the validity of the support order. So what I wanted to do was stand in front of the family court building, call 911, and then when they respond, I'm gonna say, listen, I'm making a complaint. I want you to have give the support magistrate that fucking Sue Deep car, that shitbird, and I want you to arrest her for issuing forged instruments, causing the theft of my property, and see, and then take it from there. But then I'd have to threaten to sue the police officers. I was thinking about going about that way. And before that, in my paperwork, I told you guys already, I was surrounded by like 12 court officers wearing leather gloves, because in my paperwork, I threatened a citizen's arrest. Not really wanting to, but I didn't care at that point. I had nothing to lose. I was that confident that if I was arrested, that, during the arraignment part, I'd force them, I'd state on the record, for the record, that the support order that's causing my property to be stolen is void. It has no legal force. And I mentioned in my videos, in New York State here, and I guarantee you in your state, see, all of these quasi-judicial referees and that's what they really are, fact finders, that's what they call them. What they're supposed to do in these support hearings, these commissioners, whatever, friend of the court, whatever they're called where you're from, their duty is to collect the facts, and then they're supposed to present it. The facts are made, and then they're supposed to present it to a judge, and then the judge is supposed to sign off on it. Okay? Because think about it, without a judicial signature, that order has no legal force. It's nothing but, well, it's an administrative order. Now, administrative orders have no legal force. Okay? It's created, all right, if you look up, what do you call it, in the glossary of child support terms, administrative procedure, it says the establishment of a support order by administrative process within the executive branch, but not by, I'm paraphrasing now, guys, but not by a judge in the courts. So right then they're telling you that the administrative order is within the executive branch. Well, the executive branch of government does not have the power of the judicial branch. Okay? Separation of powers, and again, I've said it before, but I got to keep repeating it because repetition, you remember. Also, I always have new subscribers. So the separation of powers doctrine is the judicial branch can't perform the duty of the executive branch, and and the legislative, and vice versa. So that being said, support proceedings, which is under the executive branch in your state. Okay, remember 42 USC 654. It's a separate organizational unit, and here's where the scam comes in. These administrative proceedings or procedures are held inside the court building to give you the impression that it's a judicial hearing, and it's not. I know it's not because I confronted the support magistrate in my case, and she started humming. When I asked her, some of you who've been with me a while, who've listened to most, or watched or listened to my videos, there's a video where I have the audio and I'm commenting on it. This is an old video. This is like going back to like November, right? And where I wanted the support magistrate arrested, I'm telling the court officers to arrest her because I'm asking her while I'm pointing. You can't see it because it's only the audio, but I'm pointing at the court order, or the support order, excuse me, and I'm saying, is this your signature? Yeah. Is this a court order? She's like, oh, what does it say? I'm like, is it a court order? What does it say? So, like that game was going on. So then I ordered the court officers to arrest her. Of course they didn't, but they didn't arrest me either. Okay, but again, I caught her, and then and every time I asked that after, then she would just lie. Okay, but that's part of the fraud. I mean, they cannot, the executive branch cannot perform the duties of the judicial branch, and there's a Minnesota Supreme Court case, Holmberg versus Holmberg. Hold on, guys, I'm sorry. Holmberg versus Holmberg, which, I mean, if you read the whole thing, they break it down how the whole, child support, procedures is a blatant, well, they didn't say blatant, but it is violation of separation of powers. Separation of powers doctrine. So here's the thing. Every state, now I can tell you because I'm the guy here, I'm the one helping people countrywide, all right? I have to help people from Portland, everywhere, except for, I think, even Hawaii, all right? So I could tell you the procedures are the same. So with that being said, if the child support proceedings in Minnesota were found to be unconstitutional by the Minnesota Supreme Court, I could tell you every state's the same. And one of my subscribers in New York, excuse me, guys, I believe it was Andre, who cited it, and I mean, it never ceases to amaze me how, when you confront these judges, like in New York State, our family court judges, some of them are, they make me laugh, some of these people. And she goes, well, that's Minnesota. I mean, is Minnesota another country? Does Minnesota have to abide by the same constitution as you and I, as me, as Rick in New York, and, Troy in Illinois? Okay? Come on. So the thing is that it's a good guidance that, it shows that an appeal court, actually an honest appeal court, dealt with it and, said in 1998, that's when the case was heard, that it was unconstitutional. All right? So, like me, I'm confident in all my paperwork that all support orders are void. That's what I go after. So, in my writ of habeas corpus that I'm working on, here's the thing. What happens with a writ of habeas corpus is that if you have an individual jailed, the writ of habeas corpus is brought in court, and the way it works is the warden of the jail is supposed to produce the body. Now, think about this. Why does the warden have you in jail? Well, the warden is acting on an order from the court that says that you've violated, you're in contempt of an order. But if we can prove that the order is void, they got to set you free. Okay? There's also a Supreme Court case called Ex parte Davis, where, now here's something I want you guys to pay attention to, and I am going to work on this. I promise you this. Many of you may have been jailed in the past, and many of you may have had a post bond. If you were jailed illegally, you have a right to that money back, and you have a right to sue those people if you were jailed based on a void support order. And that's what happened in Ex parte Davis. What happened was, I think it was, I should know, I mean, I was looking at it today, but anyway, a man was jailed. After he got out, he petitioned the court that he was jailed, the order that he was jailed on, or he was in contempt of. Well, the order that was issued, the court was without jurisdiction to issue it. All the things that make a support order or a court order void. All right, the court of issuance didn't have jurisdiction. It was issued without due process. So what happened was, I mean, it's a Supreme Court case. It's a famous Supreme Court case. And based on that, we can work off of that. Now, if we all know that every support order is void, well, how many of you out there are being threatened with contempt of court? How many of you out there have been jailed? One guy, Troy in Illinois, he was jailed. He had a post bond of about $8,000, and this piece of shit judge took the bond and gave, after they released him, gave the money to his ex-wife without a hearing. But we're gonna, we're working on that now. That's what I'm doing right now. So bear in mind, guys, any one of you guys out there, if you're scared of a contempt, all you have to say is the order that you're allegedly in contempt of is void. Okay? See, here's the thing. These child support laws do not supersede United States Code, and they do not supersede the Constitution. The 14th Amendment guarantees you equal protection, and due process. The 7th Amendment guarantees you the right to a trial by jury. Any money judgment must be issued, because all money judgments are over $20. Well, they must afford you the right to a trial by jury, and that's what I did in the paperwork that I'm working on. I'm actually going to do a video on the computer with it, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up on what I'm working on right now. I haven't been on in about a week. That's what I've been working on. All right, so you know, and then eventually I'm going to get to the writ of mandamus. All right, and then once we have all of these things, I have everything covered at this point. All right, I have all my paperwork. I got for almost every scenario at this point, except for being jailed illegally, facing threats of contempt. I can't tell you how many guys email me because they're afraid of being jailed, and I'm working on that right now. And you know, all of these efforts that we're making by our paperwork, you know, validate the debt. They won't do it. All of these things, we're going to do a writ of mandamus on that. All right, so everybody, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. You should hear from me tomorrow. I should be making this video tomorrow. Have a good night.